Good. Well
Okay.
enjoyed.
So good, good. So shall we start now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Ma'am, share the screen. So whatever discussed yesterday or till now, any question, any doubt you guys are having in any part, like in human resource planning? Just one of you can tell me what is human resource planning in just one sentence, quickly. Guys, start. Anyone? No one? Vartini ma'am?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm absent yesterday.
Okay, fine.
I'm sorry,
So
sorry,
you
ma'am.
should have told me, right? So you don't have any doubt
Yes,
on
ma'am.
this?
Ma'am, will you please recap it or tell me something about it in simple terms?
Okay, fine.
Because
Okay.
I
But
used to
anytime
follow.
you can go to YouTube on our channel. Okay, you can
Yes.
watch the video recorded session. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
from
Okay,
that,
ma'am.
yes, you will get more clarity.
Yes.
Okay, for those who were absent yesterday, I'm just quickly see, human resource planning basically, the main two major part is planning of manpower requirements and manpower supply. Okay, so we can say demand for and supply of. So demand for the job, okay, how, like, how is the demand for the job, okay, and how the supply of that particular job role. So it's basically, balancing both the thing. So that is basically human resource planning in simple word. Clear?
Okay, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So yes, see, here you can read. Human resource planning can be understood as the process of forecasting an organization's future demands for and supply of the right type of people in the right number. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
ma'am.
yes, nature of human resource planning as written here. Anybody just want to share quickly any thoughts on this, as we have discussed it yesterday, right? Anything, any point?
Ma'am, suitable
Yeah.
person at the right time and the right job for the right
Yes,
job.
correct, with the right capabilities, right skill sets should be matched, है ना? So if you're hiring for a software engineer, or if you are hiring for, suppose, as an marketing executive, so for that particular job, how many member you are requiring at that moment, and which skill sets are required for that particular job, that should be considered. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, see here, you guys can read just quickly. Uh, Four-phase process. First phase mainly gathering and analyzing the data through manpower, inventories and forecasts. Second phase, in second phase, basically it consists, why we should like look for manpower planning and all. Okay, the objectives and policies. Okay, and the getting all the approval for this from the top management. Now third phase, what we do, it basically involves designing and implementing those plans and promotions to enable the organization to manage, like to achieve the manpower objectives what we have set in the second phase. Okay, and now fourth phase is concerned with control and evaluation of manpower plans to facilitate programs in order to benefit both the organization and the individual. So do you guys remember first day I said in performance management you should be you should consider performance management when you are setting the goal as a manager. You should consider the organizational goal and the individual goal. Correct? Can you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so it's basically like that. Okay, now the seven steps. Yes, so here, analyze objectives, then inventory current human resource, forecast and demand, then estimate the gaps, formulate plan, implement plan, and then monitoring all the full process, whatever we have done till now. Okay, this is the human resource planning seven steps. Now, objectives, as we have discussed, it's basically to forecast human resource requirements, how many people we required for that job at that moment. Okay, then effective management of change, what changes should be required, then the mainly considering the organizational goals, okay, realizing that which goal is to look after right now, okay, promoting employees, then effective utilization of HR, okay, how we are utilizing our human resource planning and all everything. Clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now
Yes,
need of human resource planning. Now I just want anyone from you to just discuss on this point. Any point? 5 points are written, okay? Any in any point you guys can just speak. Let's say technological change. No, guys, speak up. Okay, fine. So technological changes basically see in this world after this pandemic, right? We guys like each and everyone had to accustomed with this virtual mode. So before that, we were not very much, used to this mode, right? As we are currently sitting in our home comfortably and we are listening, okay, we can do whatever at that moment, right? So it's basically the changes, we adapted the change, right? And in organization also everything has changed. The employees are working from their home, okay, the policies, the rules, each and everything has been changed. So basically technological changes is like because of this pandemic, okay, they had to adopt the technological change, and for that some human resource plannings are changed. So basically all are inter like linked, okay. So are you getting? Are you getting?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, importance, as we have discussed, it's part of strategic planning, creating high talented personnel, international strategies all should be there. And yes, foundation and personal functions and other benefits should be there. Okay. So yes, from here we can start today's session. Okay. As of now, whatever discussed, everything is clear. Speak up. Anyone, please.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear, but once I just go through YouTube video, it will be
Yes,
a
yes. It should be much more. Yes, yes.
yes,
You,
ma'am.
you will get more clarity, and after that, if you have any doubt, you can ask in the next session.
Okay,
Okay?
definitely, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, factors affecting human resource planning. Correct? So, what factors? See, first we'll start from environmental uncertainties. Okay? In this point, anyone wants to share anything? Okay, let's start. See, political, social, and economic changes affect all organizations. Okay, it has affected. Okay, we have seen this, and the fluctuations also that which are happening in these environments, that is also affecting the organization. You know, in a broad manner. So, personal planners deal with such environmental uncertainties by carefully formulating those recruitment, selection, training, and development policies and programs. So, it should be considered when you are planning human resource planning, when you are planning for recruitment, selection, and everything. So, environmental uncertainties also, should include in your consideration. Okay, so the balance in the organization is achieved through careful succession planning, promotion channels, then you can say layoffs, okay, job sharing, retirements, okay, and other personal related arrangements. Now, the next point, what is outsourcing? Okay, what this point is saying basically, several organizations outsource part of their work to outside, parties in the form of subcontract. Okay, so outsourcing is basically a regular feature both in the public sector as well as in the private sector companies. Okay, so many of the organizations have this, surplus labor, and hence instead of hiring more people, they go for outsourcing. So outsourcing is usually done for non-critical activities. So outsourcing for non-critical activities through contracting determines human resource planning. Now the next point is labor market. Okay. In this point, anyone wants to share anything? See how the supply is, we need to consider, right, as we have discussed. So how the job is demanding, the job is in on demand. Okay, so how the job is demand for that particular role. Okay, so supply is also should be considered. So it's basically like that. Okay, now time horizons. Okay, so human like HR plans basically can be two types. Okay, one is short term, one is long term. Okay, so short term plans, basically it's for 6 months to 1 year. This is the span for short term plans, while long term plans spread over 3 to 20 years. Okay, so the context, extent of the time period depends upon the degree of uncertainty that is like how prevailing in an organization's environment. Okay, so basically we say that greater the uncertainty, shorter the planned time horizon, and vice versa. Okay, are you getting it, guys? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now the next point. Okay, next point is type and strategy of the organization. See, all organizations are not similar, right? There are various kind of organizations in this, so see, the it is very important that which type of organization you are in, you have to understand that. So type of the organization determines like the production process involves number and type of staff needed. Okay, for that particular organization. So HR need is also defined by the strategic plan of organization. If the organization has a plan for organic growth, then organization need to hire additional additional employees. Okay, or on the other hand, if the organization is going for mergers and acquisition, okay, mergers and acquisition, for that case, there will happen some layoffs, okay, or duplicate or overlap of positions. So that can be handled more efficiently with fewer employees. Getting it? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, organizational growth cycles and planning. See, when we start an organization, there will be some stages: initial stage, growth stage, maturity stage. Okay, so basically what happened, the planning for most of the companies, the planning should be in the growth stage. Okay, the stage of the growth in which an organization is determines the nature and extent of human resource planning. So, small organizations in the earlier stages of growth may not have well defined personal planning, but as the organization enters the growth stage, okay, they feel that they need to do a plan for human resource. So, at this stage, organization gives emphasis upon employee development. But as the organization reaches the mature stage, okay, it experiences less flexibility and variability, resulting in how like a low grade rate. Okay, so human resource planning becomes more formalized and less flexible and less innovative, and problem like retirement and possible retrenchment rate also gets lower. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so shall we move it to next slide?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so see, barriers to effective human resource planning. Okay, anyone from you just read out the first point, what is written?
Improper linkage between HRP and the corporate strategy.
Hmm. So what you are understanding from this point? Anything? Anything? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. So basically, see, the HR practitioners basically are perceived as experts in handling personal matters, but are not experts in managing business. So this is the you can say this is a myth, or it has been there from a long time, but it's not at all true. Okay, so the personal plan conceived and and formulated by the HR practitioner when with the organization plan might make the overall strategic plan for the organization ineffective. Okay, now uh, inadequate appreciation of human resource planning. So see, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute, give me a minute.
Yes, anyone having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. I think Adrisha ma'am is having network issue. So, so we were looking at the barriers to the effective human process. So first was improper linkage between human resource planning and corporate strategy. So there must be linkage between human resource planning and the corporate strategy, right? So if there is the company is having different corporate strategy of achieving different goals, and if your human resource planning is not suitable and not correlating with the corporate strategy, so it is one of the barrier for the effective human resource planning. So the next is inadequate appreciation of HRP. So HRP has not been given that much importance to the company, so not more appreciation for the human resource planning. Okay, so that was also a barrier that company has been not recognizing HRP as an important part. And the next is rigidly in attitudes. So there is no if there is no flexibility, if you're not modifying or adjusting to the changes and you are stick to the points, then it is one of the barrier for the effective human resource planning. And next is environmental uncertainties and the conflict between long term and short term HRP. If there is difference between long term HRP strategies and short term HRP strategies, and if there is conflict, then it is one of the barrier to effective human resource planning. So what we are expecting from human resource planning, so will be there will be difficulty in achieving those if there is conflict. And then inappropriate human resource information system. So if your company is having inappropriate HR system, HR information system. So the company is not having proper information about its employee, and it's not maintaining regularly the information related to employees, then it will definitely affect the human resource planning, right? Yes. Any difficulty in human resource planning? Are you getting whatever is there? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any difficulty or anything you want to add in this barriers point as you have understood what is human resource planning? There may be other difficulties also, right? Yes. Shall we go ahead to the
Anyone?
next point?
Okay, so shall we move ahead to the next topic? Is it clear? Human resource planning is clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we will start with our next topic is job analysis. Okay. So have you heard of this word job analysis before? Any
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you quickly share what you have understood about this? Like what
Ma'am,
thoughts you are having for this
yes,
word?
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, we
Mhm.
analyze that according to our requirement, in which job we have to proceed.
Okay. Correct. Anyone else? Anyone else? Quickly. You must have, you know, heard of this word, right? So what is this? Like what is this job analysis?
Ma'am, I think just we're going to analyze a perfect candidate who's matched for this particular job. Is it correct?
Yes, correct. Correct. So basically, job analysis is the process of studying a job to determine which activities and responsibilities all it all includes. Okay, clear?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am, next slide, please. Think ma'am is also having network issue. Okay, just a minute.
Ma'am, I have
No,
changed
it's
slide.
not visible. You can reshare, ma'am, I think. Is it
Okay.
visible for others?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, it got stuck. You can stop sharing and then reshare again. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so as of now, whatever discussed, is there any challenges? Is there any difficulties you guys are facing? Anyone else? Is it going in the right way? Are you getting all the points, whatever we're discussing?
Till now, is everything going good, ma'am?
Okay,
I
fine.
think
So,
so. No
yeah.
difficulties.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't hear.
I think I have no difficulties.
Fine. So prepared for this, whatever we have discussed tomorrow. Okay. You guys might have one quiz. So whatever as of now discussed or today, what like in which point we will be stop. Okay. At that point, yeah. You guys just be prepared for that. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yes, so as we were discussing what is job analysis, as I said, that it's the process of studying a job to determine which activities and responsibilities it includes. Okay, and it's relative to like relative importance to other jobs. Okay, the qualifications necessary for performance of the job and the conditions under which the work is performed. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now it has two major parts. Okay. One is job description, another one is job specification. So job description is basically about the job. Okay, it basically says about the job, and the job specifications more like about the person. It's more related to the person whom you are going to hire. Okay, so JA, like job analysis, equal to job description plus job specification. Remember this. Okay, now uses of job analysis. Why we should do job analysis, right? Okay, so am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so uses of job analysis, we can say that organizational design. So job analysis will be useful in classifying the jobs and the interrelationships among the jobs. What I have said, right? It's a relative importance to other jobs, right? So on the basis of information obtained through job analysis, so decisions regarding hierarchical positions and functional differentiations can be taken, and this will improve operational efficiency of that organization. Clear? Is it clear?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Okay. So what I am saying, like uses of, like why we do job analysis, right? So whatever first point I have said, organizational design. See, job analysis will be useful in classifying the jobs and interrelationships among the jobs, comparing those jobs. Okay, on the basis of information, whatever information we have gathered for that job. Okay, job, like how we can do the job analysis for that particular role. Okay, it will help you know to take that decisions for hierarchical positions, and so that for and the functional positions as well. Okay, so this will improve the operational efficiency of that organization. So it helps to design the organizational job analysis, so how we should go. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay, so now the second point is organization and manpower planning. See, you guys can just guess it what this points is saying, because it's more related to manpower planning we have just finished, right? So anyone just can quickly give a try for this point. The point is organization and manpower planning. We have discussed manpower planning, right? So can we quickly relate manpower planning with job analysis? Anyone?
Ma'am, in
Yeah.
organizational manpower planning, we can say that means according to the requirement of the work and according
Hmm.
to the requirement of the customer, we just set our manpower means like labor to where we have to put the person at the job.
Correct, correct, absolutely. So basically, it is helpful in organization planning, for it defines labor in concrete terms, okay, and coordinates the activities of the workforce, and it clearly says the duties, okay, and the responsibilities. Okay, now the next point is recruitment and selection. So, job analysis provides you with the information on what the job entails and what human requirements are required to carry out these activities. Okay, which skill sets are required. So, this information is the basis on which you decide what sort of people you should recruit and hire. Clear? Clear? Okay. Now, performance appraisal. See, performance appraisal involves comparing each employee's actual performance with his or her desired performance. Correct. So through
Uh,
job analysis, yes,
excuse me, sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Are we
yes,
on the uses of job analysis slide?
yes, I guess.
Okay,
But the
ma'am, because
points are completely different, ma'am.
yes, ma'am, the points are
Yes,
completely
yes.
different.
I too have doubt.
Okay, okay. No, no, no. I think,
Okay, it has just different words. Okay, so
yeah, same
recruitment
thing,
and
same
selection is
point, and
nothing but staffing, and now performance management is nothing but performance appraisal. Just names are different, so you can
yes, so
correlate
it's a
with them.
diagram, right? So you
Yeah.
can understand, right? Because it's interrelated, the words and all.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Understood.
Yes. See, it has written performance management, staffing, planning. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So I was telling about, yeah, performance appraisal. So performance appraisal involves comparing each employee's actual performance with his or her desired performance. Okay. So through job analysis, industrial engineers and other experts determine standards to be achieved. They set the standard to achieve, okay, and specific activities to be performed to achieve those goals. So it's basically a performance appraisal. Now the next point is safety and health. Okay, health and safety. So it provides an opportunity for identifying conditions and unhealthy environmental factors, so that the corrective measures can be taken to minimize and avoid those hazards what has happened. Okay, to avoid the possibility of the accidents. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So till now whatever we discussed is clear.
Yes, anyone having any doubt, or shall we go ahead with next points?
Ma'am, no doubt.
No doubt.
Okay. Okay, good. So now we'll see steps in job analysis. We have seen what is job analysis. Now we'll see how the job analysis is exactly done in the organization. Okay, so first point is this: review the relevant background information. So now you are planning to post a recruitment requirement on the social media. Okay, so you must review the relevant background information, right? Which job is required, like which position is required, and what is the related information, and why we are requiring that. So you must review the relevant background information. And then next is select the representative position. So if you require a salesperson, okay, so you must represent the position in a proper manner, like sales executives, like marketing manager. So what exactly position you are requiring, and so that to select the proper representative positions accordingly, and then actually analyze that job. The third step. So now if you are looking for the receptionist job, okay, so firstly you can observe the previous receptionist or any other company's receptionist, then what are the skills required by her, then how she greet the people, then what is her job. So you can analyze the other job, so that you can properly design your job analysis that you can post on the portals. Okay, this was the analysis of the job. Then verify the job analysis information. Then you can correlate whatever requiring for your job and what you have looked in the analysis step. So is it matching? Is it verifiable? Then you can check it out, and then you can develop a proper job description and proper job specification, like about the job, what is the job, what is the location, and the skills and responsibilities, then what is the salary. So everything you can develop accordingly, and then decide how you will use that information. Okay, so this comes under job analysis. So these was all the steps of job analysis. Any doubt in job analysis? Yes. Anyone having any doubt in the job analysis? Everything clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see one by one point so that you can like job what is job description and specification. We'll see with the example also, so don't worry. So basically, job description is whole related to the job, related to the position. So it includes job title, job location, what is the job summary, and to whom you are going to report. Then what will be the working conditions, the job duties, and the machines to be used in that role, and whatever hazards may be there possibly. So this whole information is included in the job description. And the job specification is more about the employee's position. Okay, so what is the qualification of employee required, what how many years the experience is required, which trainings are required, which skills and which responsibility he has already handled or in this position he have to handle, then emotional characteristics, then sensory demands. So there are some position in which the physical characteristics and sensory demands are applied. Like in the army, there is requirement of like a specific height, you know. So that was all described in the job specification. So this was part of job analysis, job description and job specification. Now we'll see one example so that your points will get clear on this job analysis. So this is e-commerce executives job analysis requirement that may be you can post it on the recruitment portals. So firstly, the position name, which is e-commerce executive. So the company is requiring e-commerce executive employee. So they have written, we have immediate requirement for e-commerce executive profile, and the company name, then the position name, e-commerce executive, and then which type of industry it is. So e-commerce executive, the industry type is written so that the employees or the candidates can easily search this. So if employees wanted to see the jobs in e-commerce, then he can directly search through this. Okay. Then location, suppose example Mumbai, the job location, and then the job description. So here it comes duties and responsibilities, what an e-commerce executive have to do in that company. Okay. And then job type. So full time, there may be part time or work from home virtually, right? So it is described in the job type. And then shift, there is morning shift, night shift, right? So it is described in this job description. So these are the points that are described in it. And then next is job specification. So now you are requiring a e-commerce executive, so he must have 12th passed. Okay. And then experience of like 1 to 2 years, and then skills, which skills are required, like computer proficiency, then English communication. Okay. So the skills required for the that job, and then the salary, like as per the company standards. Okay, any doubt on this job analysis part? Yes. Okay, so can anyone share what is job analysis now?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Ma'am, can
Yes, sorry.
you explain this part once more in short?
Yes, sure. So, job analysis is basically the combination of job description and job specification. So, job analysis contain it is the gathering and documenting of the data that the required by that job, that role. Okay, so here we are seeing the example e-commerce executive. It is nothing but a position in the company. Okay. So in this job analysis, we have to describe that which location the employee has to go and do the job. Then what is the industry type? Then what is the job type? So it is like represented in this manner so that employee can easily get it. Okay. So job description is nothing but having whatever duties and responsibilities he has to do in the company. Okay, like example, it is giving like maintaining the order records, then product listing, and then payment of orders. Okay, so whatever duties he has to do, that is described in the duties and responsibilities. And next is job type. So there are job types, like full time, part time jobs, work from home job. Okay, so job type, mentioning job type is important. And then next, the shift timing. So what is the shift of this job? Okay, so morning 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. it is given. Okay, so then job specification. Now we have seen what is related to the job, and then job specification is more about the person, the employee who is going to do the job. So it will have the qualification of employee, how many years of experience required for this job, then skills required by the person, like here examples are given: computer proficiency, English communication, and then salary, that how many like how much of salaries the company will provide the executive. Okay, understood?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so next is job design. So job design is basically the development and alteration of components of job, such as the task one performs and the scope of one's responsibilities, to improve the productivity and the job quality of the employee's work life. So what happens sometimes, we select the employees for a particular job and he is doing that job good, but there may be requirement he must change his job, right? If he's doing the job in the Java stack, okay, but now we will look at like he's not doing particular that job particularly by like performance assessment, performance appraisal through that, then we must not remove that employee exactly. Then we should look up to the different methods for job design to improve the productivity and quality of work. So that is nothing but job design. So it is nothing but the specification of contents, methods, relationships of job in order to satisfy the requirements. That may be technological requirement or organizational requirement. Okay. So job design is done for high motivation and productivity, for the high quality of work, for high job satisfaction, and low absenteeism and turnover. So sometimes what happens in the company, employee is doing his job, but he may not feel the satisfaction with the what he's doing. So he may want to change the position, or he may want to rotate his job. So that is for the job design. So these are the methods of job design. Any difficulty until this point? Understood why we do job design?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment, and job simplification. So these are the four methods used for job design to achieve these four objectives. Okay. And next, okay, so this is the simplification. Yes, can anyone explain by using this diagram, whatever you want to explain?
Yes, ma'am. Job rotation.
Okay, yes.
Ma'am, it means that we shift, means from the PPT as well, that we shift employees from job or job from one job to another. Like if
Yes.
personnel or our employee is very talented, means he has to reach the higher places, means higher status. So for that,
Yes.
we
Yes.
shift one employee to the another
To the
place so
another
that
job.
he can.
Yes, correct. Very good. Yes. Next jobs, or we'll look at the job rotation in detail. Okay. So as she said, job rotation is practice of moving employee between jobs in the organization. So this will increase the skill variety and helps employee oriented and potential new roles and learn through different experience. So sometimes the employee is doing the job in years and years, and he may feel like boring sometimes, or he may not feel satisfied. So we can do job rotation. The roles are changed in this so that we will achieve the improvement in productivity and in the quality of work and also employee satisfaction. Okay, understood job rotation? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, anyone from you want to share about job simplification? Yes. Simplification is nothing but breaking down a anything like simplification we used to do in the maths. What we used to do there, breaking down the parts, and then separately we used to do the problems, right? So in the same case, simplification, we break down the job into various easier tasks, and that the easier task can be like provided by various employees. So it is nothing but job specification. Sorry, simplification. So job simplification is opposite of, okay, we haven't seen the job enlargement. So we'll see first job enlargement. So it is nothing but expansion of job in the same level. Okay, it is maybe like giving in this, like, okay, so here the example is given. Firstly, the employee was only attending the calls. That was the only task for her. When we enlargement of job is there, then we add the extra task. Like here you can see in the example, another task is given to her, that is interacting with the clients and making outbound calls. So job enlargement involves adding additional activities with the same hierarchical level to an existing role. Okay, so if you are attending call or you are having the executive position, then you are at the same position, you are in the same job role, but with additional activities is given to the employees. Okay, understood what is job enlargement?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. So job enrichment, it is expansion of a job in the higher level. Job enrichment is more related to like promotion. So you have been given responsibilities of higher level. Okay, so where the job enlargement is aimed to only adding tasks, but job enrichment is more like characterized by additional motivational dimension. Like if you're promoting an employee, it will definitely motivate the employees, right? It will give the more salary and more like reputed position, right? So this means the job enlargement is one of the part of enrichment. Okay, got job enrichment, or are we going too fast? Understood the difference between job enlargement and enrichment? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one from you, tell what is the difference between job enlargement and job enrichment? Yes, it has been written in this diagram. You can just read out and explain whatever you want to.
Ma'am, in job enlargement is basically on the same level, means the level on which the employees are the employees in the is in the
Yes,
lower level. He will
yes,
be he will be in the lower level, but the burden of more work means with the more
yes,
activities.
yes,
And in job enrichment, he'll be transferring for the means in the higher level.
yes, exactly. So that was the difference between job enlargement and job enrichment. And job simplification, we'll see now. Job simplification is opposite of job enlargement. What we have done in job enlargement, that we are giving more responsibility to the employee. Okay, but here in job simplification, we are dividing the task. We are not overburdening the employees, dividing the existing roles to make them more focused. So here you can see in the diagram, the people are giving their responsibilities, and then together they have to make the one important task. So job is divided, and then the job is done by particular employees. Okay, understood? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any doubt in the methods of job design?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, can
Okay.
you once show job rotation?
Yes, so job rotation, it is nothing but moving employees between jobs in the organization. So if sales executive is there and simply representative is there, then you can change the job role so that they can feel motivated also, and there will be more productivity of the work. Okay?
Okay,
Yes?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So any doubt? Anything you want to
No, ma'am.
share? Yes?
No doubts, ma'am.
Okay.